Hi, my name is Julia LaForge, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Manitoba, working on a PhD in geography and working through the Manitoba Alternative Food Research Alliance, or MAFRA. There's a few people who are working on this particular project with me, the Farmer Note project, who couldn't be here today. Jackie Avent and I have been going and doing a lot of these meetings, and we've also gotten a lot of support from Colin Anderson and Sharon Taylor. The Farmer Note project is organized through the Harvest Moon Society and Manitoba Farm Mentorship, which is now hosted by Harvest Moon Society, and has partnered with MAFRA in order to fund the project. Stay here. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're visiting various rural communities throughout southern Manitoba at the moment. We're focusing on agricultural communities, and we're facilitating the process of helping them create a farmer node or hub or network. It doesn't really have a name yet. The model that we're basing it on is the Harvest Moon Society. Is anyone not familiar with the Harvest Moon Society? Okay, so essentially we're helping them create a network to facilitate whatever they need. With Harvest Moon Society, my understanding is that a lot of it had to do with direct marketing, with education and training, with sort of opportunities to socialize. That may not be the case for all the communities that we visit. Some of them may find that they need help with labor. Maybe there's a labor shortage and they need to work together to solve that labor shortage. So we're not trying to push the Harvest Moon Society model, and actually that's come up in a few of the meetings where farmers have sort of said, are we just creating a new Harvest Moon Society? Are we Harvest Moon Cypress River or Harvest Moon Gimli? And that's not at all what we want to do. We really want to help create whatever model they see fit to meet their needs. Okay, next slide. So in order to do this, currently we're meeting with community organizations. A lot of these communities have a lot of enthusiasm and have already started working towards these networks. Our role is just to sort of help facilitate that. So we've convened 2 meetings so far, one in Cypress River and one in Gimli, and we've taken them through the PATH process. And some of you may be familiar with that process. I wasn't until we started doing the meetings. But essentially it helps identify what are the needs of the community, what would you like your future, your ideal future in 25 years to look like, and working back from that to what are the next steps that we can do in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So together we've had about 12 to 25 people at these meetings. For the most part they're farmers, but we also have farmers market coordinators or managers. We've had people from the local bakery or other local food stores in the communities. We've met, there's also, I guess, in Gimli there's an environmental advisory committee, so they were invited as well. We actually had the meeting at their facility, so they were really involved. So there's sometimes some community development people involved as well. We've also invited, town councilors and people from MAFRA as well. We have had someone from the provincial government attend the meeting, so it's a real diversity of people. And personally, I've been really surprised to see that they're all sort of wanting things to move in the same direction. So that's been really great. Next slide, yeah. So what we've seen so far is there's a lot of interest in building a local food system. And it's interesting to hear the other presentations today because a lot of them are saying similar types of things, but one thing that came out really strongly in the Cypress River meeting and a little bit as well in the Gimli meeting is that they're not as interested in having businesses that sell to Winnipeg. They're more interested in having businesses to sell to their own community. They're not interested in going to Winnipeg and then seeing their neighbors in Winnipeg buying stuff from the Costco or wherever. So there was a lot of talk about how do we rebuild our local community. So there was things around, there's a lot of interest around alternative local economies. So things like developing local currency or having a barter system within the community or setting up opportunities to share equipment or labor depending on the needs of the community. There's a lot of talk about bringing people back into the small town and having more skills and services available in small towns. So there was one person in Gimli who talked about having, a cobbler back in town so that, if you need to get your shoes fixed, you can do that in Gimli. So part of that too is involves a bit of a discussion around population. In Cypress River, much smaller community than Gimli, obviously. There were a lot of concerns around declining rural populations. In Gimli, that was less of a concern, but there was still a lot of people talking about how do we strengthen the community that we already have and build on the skills that we already have. Next slide. So what's next? We have 4 more meetings scheduled. One in Boissevain, one in Onanal, thank you. I'm not from Manitoba, so I apologize. One in Swan River tomorrow, actually, and then another one in southeastern Manitoba that we haven't yet scheduled. So we're going to continue to have these meetings. After the meetings, my role is to sort of help write a report to summarize what's happened across the province so that someone at the meeting in Cypress River can find out what happened in Gimli and vice versa so that they can learn from each other. Maybe there's some things that would work well from one community to the next, maybe not. We're also having a presentation and sort of networking opportunity at the Growing Local Conference in March. So we're trying to invite all of the participants from across the province to come and have a chance to meet each other and have some discussion then as well. There will also be a final report that we're hoping will be available to the public. One last thing of interest is that throughout the course of the last couple months since I've been involved in this project, we've found out about similar projects happening in Saskatchewan and Alberta. They're not being organized in quite the same way, but it's very exciting to see that this momentum is happening in different places in different ways. So we're hoping that together eventually this will sort of result in a more strong local food economy that will also have an opportunity to work together with each other so that the communities can interact and have a stronger voice. Thank you.